This 2006 Ferrari Black F430 has a lot of the common swirl marks and scratches, but we're going to show you step by step today on how to correct those imperfections with a 7424 PC polisher. And by the time we're done with our pads, our products, proper application and technique, you're going to get the perfect finish. Let's start with a paint correction process with a 7424, the Evolution paint correction polishes, and the Evo backing plate and pads. If we take a look at this door on this Ferrari, we can see a lot of deep imperfections. And we have several types of imperfections here. We have what's called a RID. We use that as an acronym for a random deeper scratcher. And if you look closely into the panel, you can see some white scratches. When you see the white in the scratches, that indicates that's a deeper scratch. The next type of scratch is what we call micro scratches or micro swirls. You can actually see the patterns coming back and forth in a deep circle, and these are what we call deeper micro marring or micro swirls. And then the next type of imperfections we have are just back and forth, what we call like a wish-wash scratch. So we're going to go after what we call heavy or 100% correction, and we're going to pick the proper pad and product combination to repair this panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this door 50-50 with some masking tape to show the difference between the before and after. So we're going to pick the right side as the side to correct, and then we're going to use this panel here to show the before. So now I'm going to pick out the pad for the situation, and I'm going to use our 6-inch what we call rock wool cutting foam. Now this is a pretty aggressive pad, but this pad is designed to take out very deep imperfections. So we're going to go ahead and apply it to the Velcro loop of our Evo 5-inch backing plate. Okay, once we get the pad secure, it's on there. As you can see, you got it securely on the backing plate. Now we're going to pick the product. Now for these type of imperfections, I'm going to use our most aggressive cutting polish, which we call Extreme Cut. Okay, the product application is going to be like so, where we're going to apply in a circle motion. Now, normally I wouldn't use this much product. This is a lot of product. But because the wool absorbs so much material, I need to apply a lot to make sure I have plenty to work this section. So what I'm going to do is kind of just take my finger and wipe this in a little bit, because I don't want this to sling down the side of the car. And the next thing we need to talk about is on the Porta cable, it has an adjustable speed, okay, from 1 all the way up to 6 on the dial. Now that's what we call oscillation revolutions per minute. Now this doesn't work like a standard rotary or grinder polisher. This oscillates, so it's not going to build as much heat. So we're going to depend on the cut of the foam and the cut of the product to take the imperfections out. So on this application, I want to get my coverage first, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and mask off this molding at the top here, because I want to buff close to the side of this. I'm going to tilt the mirror back a little bit so I don't scuff the molding, and I recommend getting some painter's tape from your local hardware store or Home Depot to make sure that you protect any trim or pieces that you're going to come in contact or close, because you don't want to stain or mar the rubber with the product or the pad. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to start off at a slow speed of 3 on the dial, just to get our coverage. Now the handle that comes with the machine is optional. I like to polish without it because I feel like I have more control of focus of the machine. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off so I can palm the machine. Now I'm going to spread the product out first in a 2x2 square area, small grid. Once I get my coverage, I'm then going to up my speed. Now I've got my coverage, I'm going to go ahead and take the dial. I'm going to up it to about a 5 speed, and I'm going to make overlapping motion. So I'm going to work from slow left to right. And right now I'm applying medium to heavy pressure. Now I'll take the gloss enhancer, spray a fine mist. Let's go ahead and remove the residual product to see where we're at. First step of correction with a wool pad is effectively remove the deep micro marring, rids, and swirls. Next step is going to be the fast cut white foam with our EVP and again Extreme Cut to take out the light hazing that you see in the door caused by the wool. But that wool did take out the deeper imperfections, so now we're going to take out the imperfections from the wool to to give the clarity and depth that we're looking for. So we're gonna go ahead and attach the 6-inch white fast cut foam. Now, on this, we're gonna use less product. So what we wanna do is to give the abrasive more work time. We're gonna put 1 dot of EVP into the pad, which doesn't seem a lot of product, but that is really going to assist in this panel to give us unlimited work time. And we're gonna put in 2 small beads of product to work this half a door. As you can see, I'm rubbing it in because I don't want it to spit down the side of the car. So we're gonna start off at a speed 3, and we're gonna get our coverage first, and then we're gonna up our speed. So let's start off with a speed 3. Okay, now I've got my coverage. I'm going to up the speed from 3 to 5. Now I'm going to start leaning into the panel, giving more pressure, which is going to equal more torque or more cut. I'm going to make a few passes with this technique. I'm making the vertical and horizontal overlapping motion, giving the pad on the product enough time to remove the imperfections that are still in this panel from the heavy cut. Make sure you give the product and the pad enough time to remove the imperfections. Okay, now we've worked it for a few passes. We're going to take our gloss enhancer quick detailer to remove the residual product to take a look at, did we remove the imperfections from the wool pad, or do we need to work it a few more passes? So we want to take a fine mist of gloss enhancer with one of the Gloss's premium microfiber towels, and we're going to go ahead and remove the residual extreme cut on the door to see if we need to work it a little bit more, or do we remove the imperfections. I'm probably going to want to work it a little bit more, because there's a couple areas I can see a little bit of marring. And I'm not going to add any more product, so what I'm going to do is take a quick spritz of the quick detailer. Now what this is going to do, it's going to pick up the residual product that's still on the pad. We don't need to add more product or EVP, we just need to go ahead and hit this one more time. The product is still working quite a distance. We didn't need to add any more. That's a big cost savings when polishing. Often people use way too much product to remove the imperfections. Right now I'm still applying light pressure. I would say about 10 to 15 pounds of pressure. Now what I want to do, this is a technique we do after we've pretty much removed the imperfections in from the wool pad. I'm going to again lower my speed back down to a 3. We call this a zenith approach in polishing. I'm going to spray a little bit more gloss enhancer, not very much. And now I'm going to polish it one more time. But now I'm going to let the machine and the product and the pad, no pressure, do the work. So I'm going to go ahead and take the gloss enhancer, remove this residual polish, and see if we're ready to go on to the next step, which will be the finishing polish. We're still in a cutting step. Now look at the reflection of the pads and the products off the floor. It looks like a mirror. And we haven't even used a finish polish yet, and we've got that clarity and depth, and that's what I try to tell people that want to learn correct polishing or correction. 90% of a great finish is in the polishing.